But at the same time, I'm going to make this very clear.
I've been waiting for a long time, waiting all week.
But we all have Valdosta State ties, which is the reason why we decided to get this podcast a try.
Cairo, yeah.
Cairo, yes.
We don't say that.
New Jersey?
This is Title Town. We win championships.
The fire in my loins.
That'll be later on in the podcast, folks.
I can't wait.
He made a promise to God. He said,
You allowed 28 points against a team that was essentially playing like a lucky person playing Madden, going for 2 after every touchdown.
and I think God has given him his end of the bargain.
The gigantic metaphorical middle finger.
The dirty Myrtle is exactly how it sounds.
And this is the Inferno Blazer Sports Show.
Detroit, Baltimore, you all had one job. And you all ruined it. I'm sorry that y'all ears just got blasted over there.
I can't hear anything now, Chris.
Turn him down, Jaylan.
Yes,
Turn him down.
Oh my
Jeez.
God.
Turn it down. Dang.
I got it.
What a great
I'm
start.
not talking loud, am I?
You're not exactly
The bass
talking
was
loud
boosted.
when you got the mic literally not even an inch from your mouth.
All right, is this better?
Yes.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Let's start this off properly. Detroit, you failed us. You sold so badly that the Atlanta Falcons are sitting here in disgust and getting flashbacks over here. And Baltimore, I haven't seen this much disappointment in the Northeast area since the Eagles a couple weeks before. But that's a conversation for another day. Welcome back to the Inferno. I am the Enforcer, Chris Mercer, as I am trying to do this intro with a toothpick looking like my father. We are full house in here today. We got Jaylan Scott running the switcher. We got the principal, Jack Calhoun. We have the syrup maker, Kyle Hawthorne. Great to see y'all. And of course, my dearest of best friends over here, Wyndham Drayton, is in the building. He ain't on the mic, but he's our studio audience member.
Our student?
Yeah, he's just spectating today, ladies and gentlemen.
He is our spectator. Make sure you read the Spectator while we're at it. VSU Spectator, our own Jack Calhoun, sports editor. I also write for them as well.
And Chris Mercer, staff writer.
Yes, indeed. Gentlemen, it's great to see everyone back in here. I know, Jaylan, you were tired coming back from Marietta this morning. So yeah.
Fourth time this month. For the fourth time this month, I've had to, well, technically eighth time with the amount of trips I've taken. This is the 8th Valdosta Marietta Valdosta trip I've taken this month. Yeah. So I am exhausted, but I'm here.
There's a lot of wear and tear on the car, man. Jack, you're just coming back in from on the road with the
we went to the great state of Mississippi this weekend. This is true.
I don't know why for a second I thought you just said the city in Mississippi, but all right.
Did I say it?
I don't know.
Because I thought I said great state.
Now we're going to need an official replay.
Yeah, we'll do the playback later.
If I did, I'm sorry. I'm still out of it. It was a long trip.
Man. But great to have you back. Kyle, you are just here. So,
yeah, I'm just here. I live here.
Three's down.
He's here on time this episode.
Yeah, I'm actually here on time.
I know. So shocking.
Reference back to the last episode for that one.
Oh, yeah. But great to have y'all, man. Thank you all always for listening in. Plenty of things to discuss, man. One of the headlines, including still rolling right now is our Lady Blazers. And Jack, you got more for us.
Yeah, so Lady Blazers pick up 2 more on the road to make it 15 games in a row.
Sheesh.
It's I don't know how to describe this. I really don't, because like these 2 games we played in Mississippi this weekend were 2 different games, like 2 different game flows. Mm-hmm. We were able to come out and win both games, but I will say that they got tested when they traveled to Delta State. I mean, they were ready to play in Cleveland. I mean, we got down early. We got down by as much as 8 in the first half, and there was actually a time where we got down by as many as 10 in the second half. Oof. And things were looking kind of rough. There were some hecklers that were making their way through the airwaves there, sitting right next to me. But when it was all said and done, from my perspective, it seemed like a switch flipped.
There you go.
Golly. Whenever the second half started, Valdosta State got down by almost double digits, and then from there, it was just dominance. The the move that turned it back in VSU's favor was India Jordan in transition. Blazers up 2, start of the fourth quarter, hits a 3 in transition, which anyone who knows this team knows India Jordan, she's good at getting fast break layups, and she's good at playing defense. But when you hear someone taking a 3 for the Lady Blazers, you're thinking, oh, you got Lily Long, Emma Martin, Taylor Searcy, Tamaya Francis. India Jordan's, she's not the first option, but she knocked it down like it was nothing. And then I gotta love India Jordan doing the head tap, going the other direction, looking straight at the defender.
Oh man,
that was
that's cold.
That was so funny. But they came out on top by double digits when it was all said and done. And then Mississippi College, it was just a clinic. I mean, I won't promise this, but I know at least 9 different people scored for the Lady Blazers. I think everyone that played. I think everyone got to play, and I think everyone got at least a point.
That is true. Every single
Lady Blazer
player
that traveled got a score.
And funny enough, Taylor Searcy only had 2.
Exactly. Wow. And she's one of the starters. She was one of those people that made that run in the Elite 8 a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, this team is finding ways to play just so good together late in the season as well. They got a game this Saturday against West Georgia. They're looking to take care of business there. I got to be honest. It's awesome to see. I was going to shout out to Coach Shermer picking up her 100th win against Lee. Was it 2 weekends ago now?
Yeah, it was against Lee.
She picked up wins 101 and 102 this weekend in Mississippi.
Yes, indeed.
And you got to give credit where credit's due. They're 15-1 in conference on the season. They've got a 15-game win streak, 18-2 overall. The only other team in the conference got a better record is Union. They're sitting at 19-1.
And we see them in a few weeks.
I was going to say, I'm going to be on the call for February 10th. We got Union coming to the complex. That is going to be a great game.
Yeah, that's must see. That's must see. I'm excited to see.
And another thing to look at, that Mississippi College game for these Lady Blazers, if you look at the quarter-by-quarter breakdown, Mississippi College only scored a maximum of 10 points per quarter.
This is true.
It was 10 points in the first quarter, 10 points in the second, 10 in the third, and 8 in the fourth. When you're shutting down a team so well that you're limiting them to only 10 points a quarter,
you're going to win a lot of games when you do that.
You are.
And what quarters are 10 minutes long? I'm sorry, my memory is
yes, quarters are 10 minutes long.
So you're talking a point a minute that the Lady Blazers allow.
Yes.
While they put up, what is this? 18.
They averaged almost 2 points a minute.
Yeah, 18 in the first, 19 in the second, 25 in the third, 15 in the fourth, mainly headlined by Alicia Curry, 15 minutes, 19 points, 6 rebounds.
Almost got that 20 piece, Alicia, almost.
And perfect on her field goals, too. 8 for 8. 3 for 3 on field goals.
She shot perfect.
She shot perfect.
That's what I'm talking about.
Off the bench, too. She didn't start this game, but perfect shooting. Perfect shooting night for her. That was when you say a clinic, it's definitely a clinic. I don't think there's any other way we can reasonably put it.
Yeah, and this Lady Blazers team, they're just so fun to watch. Yeah. I mean, I'll go to games that I'm not even working in. I mean, it's not just to see the guys that's working and just hang out with them, but they're just a really fun team to watch. And I might not be able to stay for the men's games, but it's definitely worth it to come out of these ladies' games because they're just so fun to watch. They're a good team. They play together, and really they can go as far as they want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. When we're getting the notion for people, that work media, all right, we're getting ready for tournament time. And I mean, or anything unforeseen, like this is a team that's going to be hosting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll be on that playoff staff.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, I definitely got to get a chance to see them because now that I live in the area. But man, if they can continue like this, man, there's no reason why we can finally get a banner up there in the complex. And man, with all the seniors that we've talked about before being on this squad, and I mean, they are truly, truly, truly going out with a bang.
Oh yeah,
you could sense that sense of urgency more than you did last year with the team.
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx them, but they obviously I want them to win a title, but they're going to go deep regardless.
Yeah,
this is a team built to win.
I think so.
Absolutely. They're a team built to dominate.
And like Chris was saying, with all the seniors, let me list them out here: Tamaya Francis, Emma Martin, Lily Long, Taylor Searcy, and Alicia Curry.
I said there's one more.
Those are our 5 seniors. That's a starting lineup.
Hang
in
on,
of
I just
itself.
want to say this for a second. 5 seniors out of 12 players on your team as a coach, that's a great place to be, by the way. Especially when all of them, I'm pretty sure all of them have experience playing in the Elite Eight too. I mean, that year, the run we went on 2 years ago. That's a great place to be. You've got great experience. You got great leadership there. I'm really excited to see how this season is going to go for them, especially how well it's gone so far in the first 20 games.
Yeah, man. Final time taking on West Georgia this Saturday. Of course, we always hype it up with football. Seeing the last rivalry of this coming up this Saturday, I'm excited to see that. But man, that Union game, man, I love working the media and all that fun stuff and working behind the camera because it's genuinely the one thing I love to do here. So to sit behind, sit as a fan going to these games, man, there's nothing like it, really.
Yeah, because, we all love sports media. We all want to work in sports media in some form or fashion. But anybody that's ever been behind a camera knows that you're there to watch the game, but you really can't pay attention to it as much as you can as a fan because you're focusing on other stuff. You got somebody in your ear 24/7. You're making the camera movements. I mean, you're not watching the game. You are the game.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I am
camera 3.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's never camera 3. How are you doing? It's camera 3. What are you doing?
That's right, Joe. Thanks for the reminder.
Well, speaking of, what are we doing? Well, let's switch over to the men's squad. We're splitting the games in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken, Jack.
I've got to take you through what happened in Mississippi. So went 1-1. The boys did on the road trip. They played a complete team game. Coach Helfer and I were talking about it on the radio. They decided to change up how they were going to approach their offense and defense against Delta State, and it worked perfectly. We talked about Delta State had a kid go off. I think his name was Chris Terrell, went off for 30 points when they beat us by 3 in December.
Yep.
He went off again, scoring 25 points, and the Blazers were still able to come out of there with, I think it was a 7-point victory. They were sharing the ball well. They didn't take many threes. The ones they did take, they did well in converting them, but they were getting it down low to Lee Flanor. They were getting it down to Mike Eisler, and they were just throwing down dunks, putting up layups, getting to the paint, making their free throws. And also, want to give a shout out to them in that game. They shot, I believe it was 65% as a team. That is surreal.
Yeah.
That is sensational. And the one I got to talk about this as well. They had a heartbreaking loss to Mississippi College, which I forgot to mention as well. This game was actually played in Jackson, Mississippi, because what I call the Mississippi Epcot Center, A.E. Wood Coliseum, there was some issues with leaking going on, so we had to move the game to, I believe it was Tougaloo College in Jackson. And let me set the scene for you folks. There's 3 minutes to go. Valdosta State's down 13. They go on, I believe it was a 15-4 run, something to that sort. Anyway, with 7 seconds to go, it's a 2-point game. It's 81-79, Mississippi College. Here comes the inbound to Jay Rucker. He catches it on the right elbow, and he's about to drive in for the layup, and he fumbles the ball. Mississippi College steals it, throws it down the court. One of their guys throws down a dunk as soon as time expires. They were right there, and you just hate to see that. It was a heartbreaking loss, but it also shows that they're right there, and they've got the potential. They're right there. They're starting to put it together a little bit, and we'll see going down the stretch if they can, pull together more games like they had against Delta State, but getting themselves in position where they can win games as well.
Yeah, biggest thing that we've been talking about for almost all the main games so far since we've been back is that hitting free throws is key. And when you're able to do that, look what happens in games. And, you're able to stay.
You got to
in
make
it.
your free ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, when, we were talking about how they were third to last in the GSC in free throw percentage at only 64%. And then when you go to a game against Mississippi State.
What?
Mississippi State.
Dang, you did it again, Chris.
Wow. I did that intentionally. Wink, wink.
Are you sure about that?
Well, at least you're not in front of a crowd. Well, Wyndham, but
It's not like we're recording a podcast or anything.
it's not like it's recorded
Yeah, no,
or
but
anything.
we can edit that out.
Oh, we're definitely not.
We're definitely not.
Need to remind
In
you,
fact,
I'm the
Jaylan
editor.
might put a woo right around
You blew it.
He's going to make it a clip.
Oh, I will.
Oh my God.
Especially, by the way, quotables. We're planning to come out with more of those, just as a side note, just a little side note track. So stay tuned for those. Those are actually kind of fun. The first one we did.
Absolutely. But,
except for Kyle review bombing them on the IG story.
Oh my God. But, when you go up against, Mississippi College.
Yeah, that one.
When you're going up against in these teams and you're shooting 100% in the first half, 80% in the second half, 84% altogether, you have a great 84%. Like free throw percentage wise, you're putting yourself in the game. And Jack, when you mentioned when it's a 1-score game, that's the situation where you want to be as a team.
And they got it into who they wanted to. I mean, the play was there. I mean, it looked like they were going to at least tie it. I can't swear they was going to go to overtime, but the basket was there. I mean, it was right there.
Yeah, man. But I have faith in the Blazers get things done. Obviously, got the home stretch coming here in February, and I'm excited to see what they do coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Like
to say here right now with the current standings in GSC, we are 11th, so a spot from where we were our last episode. We're currently sitting 11, 5-11 in the Gulf South Conference, 8-12 overall, behind Auburn, Montgomery, and Montevallo, who sport 5-9 and 6-10 conference records overall. So Union sitting at 7-8 in the conference. That's a tournament spot. That's a GSC tournament spot.
Yeah.
Our Blazers are 3 spots away and are only like 2 wins away. 2 wins away from tying up.
The games
Union.
that we got coming up is going to be huge. Like West Georgia's topping that in the standings right now on the men's side, and if they want to have a shot, this is the game that you gotta win.
And I'll also add that Blazers assistant coach Nate DeWicki was telling me this in the pregame before Mississippi College, that the Choctaws are vying for a home tournament game in the Gulf South Conference tournament. So we may see them again in a couple weeks. You never know.
At 9-5 currently in the conference, they sit behind West Alabama, who's 10-5. So that definitely checks out there. They want that home. They want that home GSC tournament match. But for Valdosta State sitting at 5-11, there's still light at the end of this tunnel. I really honestly believe with 8 or 9 games remaining on the season,
Something to that effect.
if they can get like what you were saying, the play was there and it shows that they're really getting it together.
Also, I would also like to point this out. Sam Martin didn't play at all. So they played with 7 guys for 40 minutes the other night, and they only lost by 4.
That is true.
That takes a lot of grit and resilience, by the way.
Yeah, because you got Latrell Tate, he had 39. He played 39 minutes. Lee Fleur had 34. Jay Rucker with 28. Like, yeah, when you got guys that none of them were under 25 minutes played.
Well, except on JC Clausey and Braxton Williams, but they were playing 22, 21 minutes starting.
Yeah.
I mean, geez.
Yeah, man. That's a lot of wear and tear, but hey, man, it shows the resiliency in the Blazers. So I'm excited to see that. Pack out the Plex, man, coming up this Saturday as we're recording.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting ready to take a break. We're getting ready to give you some more baseball, and then we're coming back with State Your Case. This is the Inferno.
Fans of the Inferno and Blazer Nation, we're igniting a new fan engagement initiative with fan shoutouts. Throughout this season of the Inferno, viewers who engage with our content will have the chance to receive shoutouts in future episodes and extra embers. All you gotta do is leave us some feedback, a funny comment, or whatever through leaving Instagram comments on our recent posts, YouTube comments, or Spotify's Q&A section on the latest episode we publish, or hit us up on Instagram at the Inferno B.S.S. Be sure to catch the Inferno Blazer Sports Show every other Friday at 10 a.m. And if you can't take the heat, what makes you think you can survive the Inferno?
Welcome back to... Are we going? All right, welcome back to the Inferno. Kyle, man, we got some baseball rankings out right now for you. And
yeah, definitely.
The story is West Florida, they got good players.
Yeah, they got good players, man. I'll get into that. But first off, let's get into these preseason polls. We'll start off with baseball first. The big question that everybody wants to know, where's Valdosta State? So Valdosta State ranks second in these preseason polls, receiving 125 points. They are only behind West Florida with 144 points. They got 12 of the 13 first place votes. The only other team that got a first place vote was Alabama Huntsville. They sit at 5 with 99 points. I'll just go through and read these rankings 1 through 13. So West Florida, Valdosta State, Lee, Montevallo, Alabama. No, not
Huntsville.
that one.
Y'all were talking about
everybody.
Wait a minute. Yeah, y'all were talking about me. Y'all were talking about me. Three's down.
Yeah, three's down for that one. But, ranked 5th, Alabama, Huntsville, followed by Delta State, West Georgia, Shorter, Mississippi College,
Shut up.
West Alabama, Auburn, Montgomery, there it is, Union, and Christian Brothers. Next, I will announce these all-conference players for the preseason. Valdosta State doesn't have any, but Chris was right. West Florida definitely has a bunch. This graphic shows...
Really? No.
They might be good at this baseball thing.
They got like 6, right?
Yeah, like they got 6 players, and everybody else on the graphic has either 1 or 2. 6 players. That is insane.
And what's even funnier is Valdosta State, even though they didn't get any first place votes, still second in the preseason coaches poll, and not a single. What was it? What were they again? Preseason.
They're ranked second.
Ranked second and not a player.
Yeah, Alabama Huntsville got the only other first place vote, but that just goes to show you that all these people are going and banking in on West Florida. The players for West Florida, 3 of them are starting pitchers, so that just tells you the juggernaut we're going to face every time we play them.
Yeah,
that's definitely a rotation to be feared.
You got 3 pitchers, you got a chance.
That's scary.
Yes, you do.
Because it does not matter how good of a hitter you have. Good pitching will always beat good hitting.
Every time.
Every single time. Yep. But, baseball, who knows? Baseball is a game that it is different every single day. There is no guarantee that bat will make contact with ball. So it can always be different. So we'll definitely get into that. Moving into softball, Valdosta State ranked a little bit lower in these polls at 5. Alabama Huntsville at
or
the
Alabama
top.
Montgomery, as someone wants to say.
Alabama Huntsville ranked first with 11 of the first place votes, followed by Mississippi College ranking in with 2 first place votes. West Alabama, Auburn Montgomery. Then we got us at 5. Behind us is West Florida in softball. Then Union, Montevallo, Lee, West Georgia, Delta State, Christian Brothers, and Shorter. So I know we lost a lot of softball players last season. We lost Samantha Richards, who was basically the one-woman show. She was amazing. But, we're going to try to bounce back. There's a lot of good teams in front of us. I personally really don't know all that much about the softball, but it's pretty interesting when Mississippi College is ranked second.
I think with some of the softball games that I called last year, particularly towards the end of the season, the last series against West Florida, and this was at a time
I know
when
you're going with this.
Yeah,
you're 100% correct.
Yeah, with this Blazer softball team, we were at the final series of the season. West Florida was fighting for a spot in the GSC tournament. I believe heading into that series, they were just out of the playoffs. They were just out of the tournament.
Yeah,
and they took down a Blazer squad. Well, 2 games to 1. The series went 2 games to 1. West Florida makes their way into the GSC tournament off of a wild double play and converted to end the game.
That's right.
On the the final game of the season, that double play just, I don't know. I really can't say if that really took the wind out of their sails. But it was definitely out of the Blazer sails, but it definitely gave a lot of wind to West Florida.
Oh yeah.
So I really think for this season of Valdosta State, which first of all, I really want to say 5th for Valdosta State. I would have thought
it'd be a little bit higher.
Yeah, 3rd or 4th. So I really think they have a chance to go higher than what they're ranked in the preseason.
Coach Macero is going to make that bulletin board material if I know him.
Hey Jack, remember Kyle doesn't like it when you call him
I forgot.
coach.
It's a manager.
He's a manager.
It's a manager. If you're not,
I literally am going off of what is on the website.
Literally, that is
true.
an incorrect term. I'm sorry, you're wrong. But let's look at the all-conference.
Okay, Skip Bayless, we got you.
We'll look at the all-conference preseason players. We actually got one, Abby Salt, the outfielder, West Florida has 2 in this one, so not exactly 6.
Which,
this
by the
time.
way, Abby Salt, follower of the Inferno Instagram account. Let's go.
Shout out Abby.
Crawford. So shout out to them and Latrell Tate. So shout out to these Blazers.
Hey, Tay, I didn't know you listened to the show. We were on the bus together like all week. Wow.
So shout out to them for giving us
shout out
follows.
to them.
That's
Yeah,
huge.
Me and Tay watched,
Definitely.
what was that thing called? The Terrible Tumble? What was that WWE thing that happened this weekend?
The Royal Rumble.
Ah, yeah, you go, Royal Rumble. Yeah.
Listen here.
Same thing.
No, it isn't. Don't you be around the wrong wrestling fan. It's still real to me, damn it. That's there. I promise you. There are people like that, and I'm not one of them. But like, let me tell you. Listen,
You sure you sounded like it for a second?
no.
Chris?
I listen. We all know a mutual friend that's like that. But
This is true.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him, man. We appreciate all the support.
Oh,
real
yeah,
talk, man. So
Yeah.
that definitely means a lot.
Well, that's all I got for baseball and softball. So who wants to introduce our new segment?
Hey, man, we getting ready for State Your Case. We'll get 2 minutes on the clock, and each of one of our hosts has their own in particular topics that they will discuss, and they will state your case to the viewing public.
I would like to go last if this is an option.
All right. That's fine.
We were getting ready to do a draft for
Let's
it.
be
but-
honest. I'm going third.
No, because that would make you last in this.
What?
So you're actually going.
What?
It,
Yo, you can't do that, Chris.
it would make you. It would make him look if Jack
Chris,
would
there's
be
4
third.
of us here.
I'm not going right now. I'm not. I don't
Welcome
have
to
one
math
right
class.
now. I'm not going. I don't have one right now. I might, but I don't have
so
one.
you're just officiating.
I gave you
Yeah,
a
I'm just
topic. I could have
officiating.
swore I gave you a topic, but all right.
Give him a topic, okay?
You got to participate too,
I'll tell you what.
Chris.
I'll tell you what. You want the Belichick topic? You can have it. Okay, I got another one, so you can take the Belichick topic.
All right,
so-
I'll take Belichick.
So now- okay,
So what are we gonna do?
So how
How are we drafting?
I guess it'll just be
We'll go-
starting with me.
yeah. We'll start with Jaylan,
going
go around.
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
start
go
with me
around.
and go around.
Oh,
All right,
so I can go third. Okay, yeah.
I mean, it was fate. It's fate, Kyle. It was bound to
However,
happen.
you are inevitably 3. No matter what way you flip it, whether it would be Jaylan, Jack,
No,
then you,
no, it
I
wouldn't.
need to dang, Chris.
It'd be Jack-
Chris,
it'd be
come on
Jack,
now.
then Kyle. So you'd be second.
All right, we need to get this started before Chris just like goes fully AWOL.
I'm
right, so-
tired today.
So
guys.
some-
There's 4 letters in AWOL, by the way.
Whatever. That's why we should have took a
Quote that
commercial
one,
break. That's why I was like,
that
look,
one,
I
Jaylan.
wanted a
I'm
commercial
quoting
break.
that.
That's exactly
Quote
what.
that one, Jaylan.
That's why I wanted a commercial break. I was like, dang it. I was like, all right.
I'll tell you what. You want to take a commercial break?
There will be no breaks. But I guess do you need a second?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
need
All
a
right, why don't you
second.
why don't you send it to a break?
All right,
Yeah,
so in that case, we're gonna take a little break, and when we come back here, we got 4 topics, 4 hosts, 4 topics for State Your Case, inspired by Pardon the Interruption, aka probably one of the better Sports Center and ESPN shows that they still got airing on television today. But that's a topic. But that's a topic for
That's
another
an
day.
opinion, is what it is.
That's an opinion for another day, and a topic maybe to discuss in the future. But I will not say anything further on that. This has been the Inferno Blazer Sports Show.
We'll take it. Yeah. Three's up. Three's up, man.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
We finally get to talk about America's favorite pastime.
Oh, yeah.
Baseball. I know that
Baseball.
we are baseball season is beginning here for VSU because this is recorded the last week of January on the 26th. Starting
To
in
catch
just
this
a few
extra
weeks,
number and
so-
all of our content on the Inferno, check us out on all of our streaming platforms, which can be found on our Instagram page at the Inferno B.S.S.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Inferno Blazer Sports Show. As we have alluded to before we went to break, we got a new segment coming up. And starting right now, actually, we're doing a new thing called State Your Case, inspired by Pardon the Interruption. I'm going to go first here. Out of our 4 hosts, we got 4 hosts, 4 topics, 2 minutes to talk. Let's get this thing going. So I'm going to go first here with the NFL draft coming up in April, the top 5 picks. We've talked about this before, but I really want to go into the topic of who do I think should be going number 1 overall. So just a little recap here. Top 5 picks. We got the Chicago Bears at number 1, thanks to the Carolina Panthers. Number 2, the Washington Commanders. Number 3, New England Patriots. Number 4, Arizona Cardinals. And number 5, little bit, well, I can't really say surprisingly, but considering how utterly disastrous their season went, the Los Angeles Chargers, recently hiring Jim Harbaugh as their new head coach, also bringing on Jesse Minter as their defensive coordinator. So it's definitely going to be an interesting first draft choice for Jim Harbaugh and his staff in Los Angeles. So focusing on Chicago here, they've got the first overall pick after Carolina completely bottomed out. According to NFL.com, their biggest strengths, or their biggest needs, I should say, are mainly the interior line, wide receivers, tight ends, edge, and quarterback. Their main issue this season has been giving Justin Fields weapons. The defense is good. I think it's stout. I think it's a stout defensive unit. Could use a little touching out a little clean, maybe pick up a couple guys of free agency, see what you can get in the draft. But my main case here, my case I'm going to state here, draft Marvin Harrison Jr. #1 overall. Do not trade Fields. My reason for saying that, you still got Fields locked up on a contract. You signed him to a 4-year contract 2 years ago. So he's heading into year 3. He's heading into year 3 of this deal. Give him another target that's not just DJ Moore. Yeah, give him another target that's not just DJ Moore. And also another thing with just connections and so we're looking for chemistry between Ohio State and Ohio State player. You got Justin Fields and Marvin Harrison Jr. Don't try to trade Fields unless you get something good for him. But otherwise, draft Harrison Jr.
And congratulations, Jaylan. You're the first.
I feel like we should have really had a 30-second rebuttal to everyone's thing, but it's too late for that now.
Well, I was just keeping track of time because
no, you did right. But
yeah. As far as a quick rebuttal, I agree with the fact that they should not trade Fields because obviously if they can't develop Fields, what the hell makes you think that they can develop Caleb Williams? But yeah, they do need to go receiver, but I don't think you need to draft the #1 overall.
Yeah.
Trade down.
Who do you draft #1 overall though?
Well, it wouldn't be Chicago. If it was me,
if you're Chicago, who do you draft #1?
Well, I'm not having the #1 overall pick.
I agree. I'm trading it.
Yeah, I would call up a team or who should be calling Chicago for the #1 overall pick is in the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons.
But
they are quarterback needy. And I think
my gosh, yes, please go get Caleb Williams and please do that.
Yeah,
please
don't you do a Carolina and you trade Drake London for the #1 overall pick.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Like the Falcons, if you trade them to the Bears.
Falcons, please do this.
The only I'd love to have Justin Fields, but if I'm the Bears, there's no way you get rid of Justin Fields. It's stupid.
And with that being said, that's why you draft Harrison. If you're not going to get rid of Fields, give him another time.
I agree, but just draft it. Go down. Go down drafting wise. Go cure some picks.
Which I'll say, if Chicago's going to draft down, which I'm now starting to think is probably the better idea here of drafting down, maybe don't use the #1 overall pick. But for the love of everything, do not draft under Arizona. If you go below Arizona in that order, you gave up Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Arizona needs a receiver. They will draft Harrison without even thinking about it.
And then Marvin Harrison will become the next Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes, a great wide receiver that will have no championships. All right, so I guess it is my turn.
Go for it, Chris. Go.
All right, so let me get my timer.
And 3, 2, 1, your topic, sir. Go right ahead.
All right, I've been watching the NBA for I would say almost 10, 11 years of consistently watching. The most points that I've seen since I've been alive was, of course, Kobe Bryant's 81 points. And over the last 8 years, I have seen 5 70-point games or more. Devin Booker did it in a loss to the Celtics in January of 2017. We saw Donovan Mitchell do it in a win against the Chicago Bulls early last year. Damian Lillard also had a 70-point game last year as well. And of course, this past week, Joel Embiid had 70 against the San Antonio Spurs, and Luka Doncic had 73 against the Atlanta Hawks. A lot of people are saying that, oh man, the defense is just porous. Now, Joel Embiid, not so much. I think the defensive strategy was terrible. When you are someone is sitting at 50 or more points and you're guarding him one-on-one like he has 20, that's on you if he drops 70. The same thing can be said for the Hawks game as well, because they weren't playing any type of defense at all, and Quinn Snyder should be fired, but that's a conversation for another time. Honestly, this is one of the most talented eras of basketball. Joel Embiid is a clear MVP candidate that is having an amazing year. And these are not just empty stats. He had 70 points and 18 rebounds. Luka Doncic nearly had a triple-double. He nearly had a triple-double because he had 10 rebounds and 7 assists. That would be maybe the greatest triple-double of all time if he gets those last 3. In terms of that points and value. Honestly, defend better. Do I think that it can be offensive heavy? Absolutely. But I don't think at all it is a bad thing. The fact that we're seeing this level of scoring is absolutely great. And what a way to honor Kobe Bryant's legacy last week as well with this.
1 and time.
Yeah, that's how you do things.
Okay, so I have 2 questions. First off, Chris, what exactly was the whole point of that one? Of what you were just saying?
Well, the question was, do you think that do you think that the integrity of the game in terms of, do you think that it was too easy, or do you think they were just giving up on no?
Oh, okay.
These were not just like empty stats.
And second, I do have a comment to make. I just put it in the group chat. You said in the last 5 years, and you started off with Devin Booker in 2017, buddy. That was 7 years ago.
My fault.
Man, you cannot do math.
I am
today.
tired.
Oh my god!
I am tired.
It's just the fact that we're all old now, and we've just now lost.
Yeah,
We're all old.
Well, not you.
Well, not me. I'm just tired.
You're going to be here in a minute, Jaylan.
Yeah, man. Back in my day, let me tell you something.
Which also,
don't start that.
No, not now.
I will say this though, man. That was it was amazing to see that last week. It's last week, the week of the 20. What's today? The 29th.
Indeed.
Week of the 22nd. Seeing Joel drop 7, like those are amazing numbers, no matter what way you flip it. So it needs to be commended. Real talk. So, I am, gonna pass things over to Jack.
No,
if you are ready.
No, I got to go first.
Real quick before we get to Kyle, I want to interject this real quick. If you watched our episode if you watched our latest episode 2 weeks ago, Return to the Fire, we made a note at the end of the show that we were going to start doing fan shout outs for people that commented and gave us feedback on our podcast. So I want to give a shout out to Jack Baldwin replying to our Q&A.
Down in Orlando.
Replying to our Q&A from the last episode.
What did Jack say?
He said, "It's a solid series, guys. Just need some soccer talk to get you further. And as always, the Cowboys suck and I knock Kyle out of the fantasy football playoffs."
Attaboy.
So
Jack also said that if he beat Kyle in the playoffs, Kyle had to reveal his fantasy football name. So
what is that name?
Yeah, okay. Fine. I will.
What is it?
I will reveal the name.
Drum roll, please.
The name is Skoggy Supremacy.
Yes!
So let me explain that.
No.
So when me and Jack and a few other people, we made our movie for our production class, we had teddy bears in the movie that talked. So
they actually still talk.
They talk, but we don't talk about that.
Yes.
But the one that I ended up with was the little one in the movie, and that's what we call it, is Skoggy. So my little profile picture was a picture of the teddy bear on my couch drinking a beer, and I beat Jack Baldwin twice in the regular season. Then he came back and beat me in the playoffs when it actually mattered. But listen, all I'm saying is he lost 2 times to a teddy bear drinking a beer.
And with that being said,
that teddy bear was drinking that beer in the fantasy championships on the couch.
So 3's up. Kyle, you are on deck.
Starting in 3, 2, 1. Your topic is starting now.
As a Falcons fan, there
hates life.
are certain things that I hate. Number one, being a Falcons fan. I hate that. Why do I put myself through this? Listen.
Or liking Bill Belichick. But that's conversation.
Listen, I liked Arthur Smith. I really did. But it just was not working out. 3 7-10 seasons, absolutely terrible. So listen, I was happy when he got fired. I'm not even going to lie. But listen, Raheem Morris, why? Why did you do this? He was there before. He went 4-7 as an interim head coach after they fired Dan Quinn, and I wasn't very happy about that either. but you go 0-5, you get fired. That's what happens. But why Raheem Morris? I don't even really like Bill Belichick. I really did not want him. But
I wonder why.
You picked Raheem Morris over Bill Belichick. Brian Flores was right there. He was right there. Ben Johnson was right there. Why? Why did you do this to me? It never gets better. It never gets better. Jaylan, the Cowboys fail in the playoffs every single year. Yep. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens.
Yep.
It must be nice to get to the playoffs. It really
isn't.
Listen. It must be
Less
nice.
than 30 seconds.
It must be nice. All I know is pain. I remember watching Super Bowl 51, watching in the third quarter, saying, "All right, guys, we're about to get this Super Bowl." I was sitting there. I said, right when the game ends, I'm getting on Fanatics. I'm getting all the gear. It has been a long time coming. But why is it always so terrible? I know nothing but pain.
And with 2 seconds remaining, time has run out, Kyle. I will say, as my rebuttal for you telling me that it must be nice for the Cowboys to make the playoffs every year. It is not. I will say it is nice initially, but then you realize the team you're cheering for. But then you realize the team you're cheering for is the Cowboys, and they pull this every year since Dak has been the quarterback.
Before we got demonetized. Dang.
Man, we did so well. We didn't even get demonetized in the first episode, did we?
I don't know whether we did or
Wait,
not.
Jaylan did it twice. He got us demonetized in back-to-back episodes.
I censored it. It's fine for monetization.
Yeah, but
That's fine.
The rebuttal is, I mean, honestly, Bill Belichick probably would have taken you backwards if you're going to be real, because I mean, he's offensively inept. Is Belichick? Belichick is one of the greatest defensive minds to ever live, and
agreed.
I'm never going to take anything away defensively. The Falcons' problem last year was not defense. That defense was getting left out to dry last year. If you watch the Falcons game, I guarantee you could see it.
Wait, wait. You just said the defense was not a problem. Then you said the defense got left out to dry.
Left out to dry. Like the reason why the Falcons lost 10 games was not because of the defense.
Oh, it was because of
Yes,
yeah.
I thought
the offense wasn't that.
He said the defense was not the
Desmond
problem.
Ritter.
Yeah.
So speaking of Bill Belichick, Jack, we're going to go to you. Your final topic.
Clean up spot.
I've actually requested extra time because I have 2 topics.
All right, so
we'll get 4 minutes.
we'll get 4.
I don't think I'll need 4, but I'll do the Belichick one first, and I got one I came up with last night.
4 minutes on the clock for Jack. Mr. Calhoun, timer is on you. The floor is yours.
Belichick did the right thing by not going to Atlanta, and here's why. 1, I think Belichick's time is done. I think he realizes that, and I think it's a good thing that him and Kraft came out, settled their beef, and regardless of however they may feel about each other, they put together, in the Super Bowl era at least, the greatest dynasty in professional football. So you got to give him his credit. Some people are like, well, he might want to play he might want to coach another year or 2 so he can catch Sula. He's done. Like Belichick, you just watch him and he looks like he doesn't want to be there. And physically, he's starting to get up there in age. He's in his 70s. He just looks like he's ready to be done. And if you go to Atlanta, you're not going to be able to win in your first year. You still got the quarterback issue. They still got to get some offensive pieces. I mean, it was a rebuild there, and he doesn't want to do that. And then honestly, after Super Bowl 51, I'm surprised they even interviewed him. But I don't believe that he wanted to go to any of the options. He just wanted to see what they had. However, I will say that I think it was a smart move for Belichick not to take any kind of coaching job. He needs to just ride off on the sunset. I mean, yeah, it was a rough year. Yeah, he lost to the Jets, which is kind of ironic considering... That's very ironic. Considering that, how many times he beat the Jets with the Patriots, and, technically the Jets was his next job after Cleveland.
Didn't he resign with a paper napkin?
I've heard rumors. I'm sure that's true. But, yeah, that's my take on Belichick.
So that's your first topic. So that's your first topic. You got 2:15 remaining on your overall 4 minutes time. So what is your second topic before we get to rebuttals?
Okay. I think NIL is ruining college athletics, personally. I believe that college athletics has been tainted because of it in the last few years. I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that. You can have a different opinion, but you can't tell me in the last 5 years that college athletics has not changed because of NIL. It just is what it is. I mean, what's his name up there at UConn, the women's coach? I mean, he told me that, or he told the media, he's like, you can't really do your job anymore as a coach, because part of the reason with picking a school and going to that school is so that you can build in that system. But when you play at a place and now they make it to where you could leave, like you could have a bad game, a bad experience, and if you wanted to, you could be at a different school the next week. Like that doesn't allow you to build team chemistry very well.
Yes.
Now, are there some people that do it? Yes. I'm not saying that there aren't some people that are succeeding in the NIL thing, like Georgia football. They're succeeding with it right now as well. But in the grand scheme of things, I believe that it's a little selfish for the players to already be getting scholarships, and then on top of it, they're going to try and ask for money. Now, do I think that the schools off their name and likeness are making a lot of money? Yes, I don't think anyone is denying that. However, part of what you are going to this school is you're getting something that not everyone gets. You're getting a scholarship. I mean, there's people like, I'm sure everyone at this table has had to work their way through school. And I'll tell you this right now, I have no sympathy for someone complaining that they don't have enough NIL money when they're already on scholarship, they're already getting gear, they're getting all their classes paid for. Yet I have to work these different jobs just to be able to pay for school. I mean, it's showing selfishness, in my opinion. That's why I think NIL is ruining college athletics.
And 5 seconds left on the clock for that
I'll
one.
say this as a rebuttal. First with the Belichick thing. Honestly, I remember hearing a rumor that he could take Kansas City job because they're saying Andy Reid might retire, which I don't really believe. But honestly,
I don't see that.
Honestly, yeah, he should, because he should ride off into the sunset. He has nothing to prove to anybody. Although if he does retire, we're going to hear, oh man, Tom Brady was the system, when clearly it was a two.
Brady was part of it, but Belichick still.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said before, Bill Belichick, I honestly, if you're being real, was always offensively challenged in a way, because that's not his strong suit. Big Belichick, especially if you look at early Brady years when Brady wasn't, the clear-cut GOAT, he was a system quarterback that was played around a great defense. That was the Patriot way in the early 2000s. And
Patriot way.
I mean, it just was like offensively, like there wasn't a lot of like playmakers that he would have later on when he had the Bill O'Briens and the Josh McDaniels as offensive coordinators. When you had Gronk, arguably the greatest tight end of all time, one of the greatest glue guys ever in Wes Welker, and one of the most underrated receivers of the 2010s, and Julian Edelman, and even
I don't think you can make a top 10 slot receivers category, like a top 10 list, without Welker and arguably Edelman.
Yeah, absolutely. Welker, man, he should be a Hall of Famer one day. I don't know if he ever will, but I definitely agree with that. I don't think there's really anything on the market in terms of like the teams that were left, though, because the only two teams that don't have a head coach right now is Seattle and Washington, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, Washington got Ben Johnson, and probably Seattle's probably going to end up with Dan Quinn. I would honestly like that for him to return, but
yeah,
because Dan Quinn was part of the Super Bowl
he was
staff.
He was defensive coordinator. Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Yeah, with
but the second thing though with the NL deal, and I'll close with this, it's Pandora's box. Honestly, when it came down to it, I think it hurts more of college football. I think it affects more of college basketball than it does college football. And I'll say this. All the points that you made is very true. All of us in here work either for the university and then other jobs on the side. And yeah, it does, it kind of comes off as privilege in a way. But off of names of the like list, there needed to be a way to being able to maintain the integrity, because there are ways that you can do that. And the NCAA was inept in doing that.
I've got a simple way to fix it, but go ahead.
I'll say this. I remember having a conversation with my mom about this. with especially the transfer portal. I remember her telling me.
Oh my gosh, I could do an entire extra Amber on the transfer portal.
Maybe you should.
Please do.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool.
Back when the transfer portal is what it is now, you barely heard anything about the transfer portal. It was barely utilized. The whole thing was
it's the whole point.
You go to school. You choose a school. That's where you plan to stay for at least your undergrad. That's where you play. That's where you go to school. But now what the NCAA has done is that they've taken away any sort of liability or any sort of penalty away from doing so. Exactly. My case in point here, bowl games in FBS. They have been significantly dumbed down and lost all their significance because they've made it to where a player can transfer out or opt out for the NFL draft before this game, which is usually
on their team,
which is usually a part of their schedule. If you're a good program, if you're at least a mid-tier program who can amass 6 wins on the season, you're going to a bowl game. It's not arguable. It's not arguable.
Don't disrespect the integrity of the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
but what I'm saying is, if you have a bowl game,
kind of cool.
If you have a bowl game, it's part of your schedule. Like every other regular season game, you play it. And what they've done with the transfer portal is they've taken away any sort of penalty for doing so. And I really think that needs to come back. There needs to be eligibility penalties for doing that.
Pandora's box,
so it's not turning to NFL free agents, which I remember saying. The NCAA is trying to turn it into the NFL without taking any of the good that the NFL's done. Case in point, like what Jack said a couple episodes ago, a structured playoffs.
Yeah.
None of this voting. No, you make conferences, you make seeds. This is how you get those seeds. Roll with it.
Exactly.
None of this favoritism. Make it to where it's structured like the NFL. One of the few things the NFL does right. Let it ride.
And the NCAA is trying to copy what the NFL is doing and failing miserably. And now I agree with the whole point of for just the schools and universities to make money off their money off their athletes. I think that's wrong. The athletes need to be compensated. I feel like the athletes need to be compensated in some way, shape, or form. Like jersey sales, signatures, merchandise, signed merchandise, just simple stuff like that.
Yeah, give Reggie Bush back his Heisman because that's the only reason why he doesn't have it.
Exactly. What you take away, like what they took away Heisman's for like signing jerseys and stuff. Let them do that now. If the colleges can make money off of that, then let the athletes make at least some profit out of that. Kyle, you can go right ahead. What's your rebuttal?
Well, with the Bill Belichick thing, I really wish he would have just retired, go off in the sunset, as y'all said. It's just really not good for appearances right now. Do I wish we would have got him more than Raheem Morris? I mean, I did a whole section about it, but I really wish he would just retired because there's no place he's going to be. And it's kind of just sad now.
Yeah.
As for I'd
like to point out that the Falcons blew a 2 interview to known lead for Bill Belichick.
Still robbing the Falcons.
Well, love it. Well, they didn't get Bill Belichick because they didn't want to give him all the control he wanted, but I won't get into that.
But also, he's offensively inept, so you would have taken steps back.
Yeah, with the NIL stuff, I do think they need to be compensated because the NCAA is profiting off of their name, image, and likeness, but you shouldn't be paying them that amount of money. You can't be paying these college kids that amount of money. What was it? I think it was like Matt Rule that said a starting quarterback costs like $1 million. That's ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. College football should be ashamed of themselves for that.
Here's the thing, though. When it comes down to the NCAA, and I'll let you wrap up in a second. The NCAA has always had a problem with not only in college football but also in college basketball, because if we're gonna keep it real, the way that it works now, while there's gonna be a point where, like in the NBA, where they have the G League Ignite, and they can go that way before going into the draft, there's gonna be a way, whether it be through the United Football League or another various need, that it's gonna bypass college football altogether because the money is gonna be there.
Be like the USFL almost putting the NFL out of business in the 80s.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's just going to be like, we're going to go here before the NFL, because G League Ignite, where you're like, oh man, you're going to make 6 figures and you're going to go and play against professionals, and then you can be in the draft sooner. And there's just ways to avoid that. Oh, you can't be 18 to go into the draft. So there's going to be that type of penalty. And the NCAA is trying to, to have that incentive to play college football. But honestly, it is ruining
and
the game.
While we're on that
and
topic,
the playoff honestly ruined the game, if we're going to be completely honest.
I'm here to tell you the playoff is just as bad as the BCS. I don't care who you are, all down that hill.
Yeah.
It's the same difference. The BCS computers, it's the same. It's the same 12 people in a room.
Same thing.
Whoever's got interests, they get those same teams. It is what it is.
I mean, Adam said it in our in the season finale that we had during the during last semester, when you were like, when you hear we factor in injuries, it's like, okay, that's when you knew Florida State was going to get robbed. Like, that can't happen. So they do need to change it.
It did in 2014, but they don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. Favoritism to the Alabama Invitational. So I'm going to pass things over to Kyle to wrap things up, man.
Yeah, so we're going to just do some ending segments, and the one that I'm bringing to the table is want to give us a little bit of an advertisement for my friends over at VSU Rugby. Y'all know I did the Extra Ember with the rugby guys, but they're looking for some new players. If y'all are interested, I definitely recommend you trying to. You don't even need any experience. All you need is a good attitude and, a desire to learn. They host practices Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 6 p.m. on the North Campus field. That's up there by the hospital. But these are good guys. I definitely recommend y'all giving it a try if you're even somewhat interested. And I hope y'all have fun with it if you try it.
I might actually give it a try. I was legitimately.
I would love to see you try rugby.
Yeah, real talk. That'd be cool.
And one last thing, real quick, as we were talking about with shout outs earlier. Which, speaking of, if you guys want to get shout outs on these episodes, leave us some feedback. Leave us a comment on our posts, on our episodes. Leave us a YouTube comment, Spotify comment. We got another one here from VSU alum Ben Strickland. Leaving us one last episode. He said, "See if you can get a guest from one of the basketball teams." Now, as an independent podcast, we have some hurdles. There's some hurdles there.
There's several hurdles
to that, Ben. But that's something I think we would love to.
I will see what I can do. I cannot promise anything, but I can see what I can do.
That would be amazing. So Jack, do you want to end us off here in this episode?
Yes. Thank you all for tuning in to the Inferno Blazers Sports Show. For Jaylan Scott, Chris Mercer, and Kyle Hawthorne, this is Jack Calhoun signing off, saying as I always do on the air, have a great night, God bless, and go Blazers.
Yo, Craig, say something to the people before we go.
Bye, Felicia.